Welcome to Windchime Storytime.
I'm David.
And I'm Reese.
Today we are reading Peri the Little Winged Hummingbird by Leona Wall.
Let's join the fairies in Enchandream Wood as they help a new friend.
Enchandream is home to many beautiful creatures and animals. They all love the magic and happiness it possesses. One animal in particular that is filled with joy and cheer is the hummingbird. These beautiful small birds have amazing colorful feathers that glisten and shine magnificently in the light. The hummingbirds in Enchandream love to whistle and sing, so much so that all of the other animals can hear them in the sky above as they make a sweet humming sound when they fly. In the forest of Enchandream lived a special family of hummingbirds who had just nested for the year. They had 4 babies who were settling into the forest in their nest, 2 boys and 2 girls, one of whom was very special. Meanwhile, in the kingdom of Enchandream's willow tree, Sparkle, Glitter, Twinkle, Tinsel, and Glow were preparing for the spring delights ahead and welcoming new baby animals in the forest. Glow, the youngest of the fairies, had a particular idea this year.
Let's make all our loved ones yellow daisy necklaces and bracelets,
said Glow.
That's perfect,
said Tinsel.
It matches the springtime sunshine.
The other sisters nodded and started to collect all the fallen bright yellow petals from the flower gardens below. The fairies enjoyed making items and being creative. One afternoon, the fairies wanted to deliver the necklace gifts they had made to their friends throughout the forest. First they went to Dottie and Goldie, their trusted ladybird and unicorn friends, then to the butterflies and honeybees, then on to the baby squirrels. They loved seeing all of them smile at their creative gifts.
I like seeing all our friends enjoy our gifts,
said Glitter.
Me too,
said Twinkle.
It's nice to give to others.
Just then, the fairies heard a beautiful humming sound in the distance, along with a little sniffle of what sounded like tears.
What is that sound?
asked Glow. The fairies continued to watch the sky above. Then, unexpectedly, there appeared a beautiful royal blue and emerald green hummingbird, tumbling up and down as he flew, trying hard to keep flying in the sky. As they watched the beautiful hummingbird, he couldn't keep in the air any longer and was falling lower and lower to the ground.
The poor thing is falling! We must go and help,
said Sparkle. All the fairies quickly flew towards the hummingbird as he landed with a little bump on the ground.
Are you okay?
asked Sparkle, looking at him with care. The hummingbird looked up with sad eyes and replied, My wings are not big like the other birds. They're not able to keep me up in the air. The hummingbird jumped onto his feet and shook off the loose grass and petals on his body and tiny wings.
What is your name?
asked Tinsel. Peridot, said the hummingbird. It means green, but please call me Peri.
Where were you flying to?
asked Glow. Peri replied, slowly flapping his tiny blue and green wings with an unhappy face. I need to collect some twigs and moss for my nest bed, and I just cannot seem to fly anywhere to do it. Everyone in my silk tree doubts me, due to the size of my wings, and there is this one hummingbird called Harmony who I love, and she doesn't even notice me.
You have lovely wings,
said Tinsel.
They are so colorful and radiant. I am sure she will notice you soon.
I've tried to impress her with treats and gifts, but she doesn't seem to care, said Peri.
We can help you,
said Glitter.
We fairies can help you collect some twigs and moss to start a nest.
Oh, will you? said Peri, smiling and jumping up and down on his feet, flapping his tiny wings. Glow and Tinsel gently held Peri's delicate little wings and moved up and down so he began to fly. Glitter, Sparkle, and Twinkle all smile as Peri began to fly into the sky.
Let's go... Wrong voice. Let's go to the toadstools,
said Glitter.
I am sure there will be plenty of moss and twigs there.
As Glow and Tinsel flew with Peri, alongside Glitter, Sparkle, and Twinkle, they were all fascinated by the amazing humming sound Peri was making.
What a beautiful sound you make, Peri, as you fly,
said Twinkle. I'm still new at flying, said Peri. I hope one day I can fly on my own. Hearing this made the fairies feel sad for Peri, but they were all determined to help him. They all arrived at the toadstool garden, and slowly they flew down and sat on top of a red and white dotted toadstool. Looking around at the floor below, there were plenty of twigs and moss to collect.
Let's start collecting,
said Glow, and they did. They gathered so much moss and twigs between them, more than enough to make Peri his nest. This is even more than I need, said Peri, looking so chuffed and happy with what had been provided.
Time to take these back for you now, said
Glow. Carrying all the twigs and moss on their backs, Sparkle, Glitter, and Twinkle used all their strength to carry this for Peri, whilst Glow and Tinsel helped Peri leave the toadstool again and take flight into the sky with his little wings. Peri led the way back to his silk tree, and together they all flew down to the tree, to a little branch at the bottom, and helped him make his nest for his bed. While the fairies helped Peri, his other hummingbird sisters and brothers all watched. Looking on was his love Harmony, who was sitting on a side branch looking around the trunk of the tree. Peri's brother approached the sisters. He will never be able to be a true hummingbird and fly like us. He may as well give up. The fairies heard this, as did Peri, and they saw Peri's eyes glance over to look at Harmony. Harmony was partially hidden behind the trunk as she walked back to her nest on the other side of the tree. Peri's beak dropped sadly as he walked away from the nest that they were all building together. Quickly tiptoeing up behind him, Sparkle whispered,
Don't listen to them, Peri. We can help you fly. We are magical fairies. That is what we do. All you need is hope, courage, love, truth, and dreams.
You want to help me more? Asked Peri.
Of course. But first, you need to believe in yourself, that you can fly, and we will be right behind you,
said Sparkle. Oh, that is my dream, said Peri excitedly. Glow's ears pricked up as she heard Peri say this wonderful word, dream, in the distance, and flew over and stood beside Sparkle.
Dreams are the route to happiness,
Glow said, beaming with a smile.
We will come back tomorrow to start flying lessons.
Thank you, said Peri, and he waved his right little wing as the fairies all left the silk tree to return to their kingdom. The following morning, the fairies woke up so excited that they were going to help Peri fly today. They all twirled with joy and flew one by one out of the willow tree and traveled towards the silk tree of the hummingbirds. Peri was feeling very miserable. He had been awake much of the night exercising his wings, but now he did not feel brave enough to practice his flying, as everyone doubted him in the silk tree. Fairies landed on the silk tree branches by the nest they helped create, and saw little Peri lying there with a very unhappy face.
Come on, Peri,
said Glow.
It's flying day. You're going to fulfill your dream.
I don't think I can, said Peri as he flipped his body over away from the fairies. The fairies looked at Tinsel, the fairy of love, as she always knew how to make things better. Tinsel flicked over Peri and said softly,
Love can offer you wonderful things. If you want to fulfill your heart, then you must try.
Peri looked over at Tinsel and nodded his head. You're right, he said. I am going to fly. Then Peri jumped out of his nest and waddled with pride over to the end of the branch and leaped off into the sky.
"Wait!"
said Glitter as she ran to the end of the branch to catch him. Flapping in a panic, Peri was falling once again to the ground. Glitter managed to catch him in time and pushed him back up to the branch above. "I will never be able to fly," said Peri, shrugging his wings with a deep sigh.
"Yes, you will,"
said Sparkle.
"But first we want to encourage you with 5 things. Hope that you can do it. The courage to want to try. The love of wanting to feel special. The truth of knowing who you are. And the dreams of your future as a flying hummingbird."
The fairies all gathered together, formed a circle around Peri on the branch, and softly sang.
"You can do it, you just try it. You can do it if you believe. You can love, you can have dreams. Keep knowing who you are, and you will achieve."
Peri smiled and closed his eyes and hummed the melody in his head. The fairies then led him to the end of the branch and held his wings. Then all together they leaped with all their heart into the sky. Peri opened his eyes and he was flying on his own. "I'm flying!" he gasped. "I'm flying!" Watching from around the side of the silk tree was Harmony. Her bright eyes glowed in admiration of the sight she was seeing. The wonderful humming sound coming from Peri grew in volume as he flew around the silk tree. His beautiful wings shone and dazzled. He was louder than any hummingbird has ever been. This woke the rest of the birds. They all gathered at the top of the tree to watch Peri in amazement.
"You have done it,"
said Glow, clapping her tiny fairy hands. "I believed and I did it, all thanks to you, my fairy friends," said Peri as he flew slowly back to his nest. Peri stood proudly as the other birds looked at him in astonishment and awe. Then, as he looked around, he saw Harmony was shyly and nervously flying towards him around the tree trunk. Harmony looked at Peri with love and snuggled the top of her head into Peri's stretched, proud neck. Peri had to take a deep breath as his heart was racing with happiness before closing his eyes and wrapping his tiny wings around her. The fairies were all watching from the end of the branch and enjoying this astonishing moment when Queen Selena suddenly appeared behind them and held them all close in her arms. "As I've said before," she whispered, "the power is always inside you. You have made Peri feel all the magic we hold together as one, so he can achieve anything." The fairies smiled and waved goodbye to Peri. Peri lifted his little wing as Harmony raised hers and waved goodbye to their new fairy friends. "Thank you for believing in me," said Peri.
"You're welcome,"
the fairies all said together as one. Tinsel, filled with the power of love, then spoke as she looked back at them together.
"You are always able to fly, Peri. You just needed to find your strength, support, and inspiration. With hope, courage, love, truth, and dreams, you can achieve anything. And you did." Thanks for listening to Windchime Storytime.
Have a pleasant day.
And the next adventure's on the way.
Bye.
Bye.